So good evening. So today also I'm going to use the same DHT temperature sensor. Okay. So and I'm going to update my data into the cloud called Adaptive. Okay. So this is a free cloud where you can update more number of data. Exactly 30 hits per minute you can be allowed. Okay. So hits in the sense number of data that you can able to send to one particular cloud. Okay. So here I have my controller with me. So I'll switch on my camera so that you can see the controller. I hope my video is visible. Okay, so this is my controller. So in this controller, I'm going to add my DHT11 sensor. Okay. So what happens? The DHT sensor will sense the room temperature and it will be uploaded into the cloud. Okay. So as we already discussed, the purpose of uploading the data into the cloud is we can able to access from anywhere from the world. Okay. So wherever you are, you have a login account for this particular cloud, then your data will be visible everywhere. Okay, and also you can go for an controlling applications also. So in today's class, I will be just going to update the data which is sensed by the sensor. So monitoring purpose alone, we can able to use that. So what is the exact application in the sense for measuring the environmental parameters or weather report of one particular area, we can use this particular project. Okay, so here this is your sensor, okay, DHT11 sensor, and this is my ESP controller. And by adding this sensor with my controller, my data will be uploaded into the cloud. Okay, so temperature sensor. For example, if I'm residing in one particular place called Erode in the sense, the Erode city's current temperature, I will be updating into the cloud. So likewise, in all around the city, I may have a number of sensors. So all those data can be uploaded. So I can have a periodical review of my data. Okay. So if I want to go for a weather report for a news channel or for some other purpose like an agriculture monitoring and all, I can able to take my data for analysis, further analysis. Okay. And if I'm having a data of a vast number of sensors and for a prolonged period of time, then automatically I can able to predict the weather in future also. Okay, so for example, last year what is the temperature and last before year what is the temperature, like this. If I'm having a history of data, then with that I can apply some algorithm and I can able to plot my data into a graphical format so that I can able to say during this particular season what kind of weather I can able to expect. Okay, whether the humidity will be higher or it will be rainy, likewise. Okay, so automatically if the humidity level is higher, definitely there will be a chance for raining. Okay, and if during summertime also at what level the temperature may rise, we can able to predict approximately. So for that we can go for this particular weather prediction applications. So one such application I'm going to do today. Okay, so for that I'm going to choose my ESP8266 controller as I mentioned in the last class, because this particular controller will have an inbuilt Wi-Fi connectivity. Okay, so that's an connectivity protocol available, and for communication I'm using MQTT protocol, so it will take my data to the cloud. Okay, so and also I have shared one more video how to install this particular board. Okay, so ESP8266 board you have to install. So in the board session, if you go in the Arduino 1.8.13 version, if you go to the tools and in the boards, you can able to see there is a board manager, and in that ESP8266 is the board, and I'm using the version 2.5.0. Okay, so in this Node MCU 1.0 12E module I'm going to use. Okay, so for this how to install the board and everything, I have shared the video already. You please look into that and you install this particular board for your future applications. Okay, so here we will start with the program, how it will be working, and then we will go for a demonstration. Okay, so first line is hash include ESP8266 Wi-Fi.h, which will enable the future of Wi-Fi from your ESP8266 controller. Okay, for this we are going to connect the Wi-Fi, disconnect the Wi-Fi, checking for the connectivity, everything. So those predefined programs will be available in the header file called ESP8266 Wi-Fi.h. And this particular header file is not mandatory to include at first, because while installing this board itself, it will be automatically installed, pre-installed automatically. Okay, so whichever the library is not available, that alone you have to be installed during the execution of the program. Okay, and next one is a string.h. If you want you replace your RAM memory more for your data, then you could use the string function. Without using the string.h also, your program will work well, but it will sometimes it will occupy your RAM memory. Okay, so more RAM memory it will occupy. So in order to avoid that only, we are going for the string.h. Without this also, you can do the programming. Okay, so next one is your Adafruit MQTT. So as I mentioned earlier, the communication protocol which we are going to use is a MQTT protocol. So for that, Adafruit has created. Okay, so this is a website provider and also service provider. So they will be created their own MQTT protocol, and the header file will be available in the GitHub. Okay, so there you can directly download. So how to download the library in the sense, you just copy this Adafruit MQTT.h, and then you go to your browser and just copy paste this particular library. Okay, so then it will direct you to the GitHub website. So very first link will be automatically the GitHub website. So you can click on this, and this one who uploaded this particular library is Adafruit. Okay, so directly from Adafruit it is uploaded. So here you can find the MQTT library, and here you can see the MQTT.h header file. Here you don't have any downloading option, so you click on to this next level. So next higher order level, if you click on, then you will be getting a downloading option here. So if you click on this code button, then you can have a option to download in two manners. One is open with the GitHub desktop, and another one is download zip version. So my suggestion is you go with the download a zip version, because if you want to include any libraries manually, in the sense it will be allowed through only zip file format. Okay, in your Arduino programming. Okay, so for that only we are doing this. And another one library record is Adafruit MQTT client.h. So this particular library is also available in the GitHub. So you just click search onto the browser, and you will be directed to the GitHub website. So you click onto this, and here also you don't have any downloading option directly. So you click onto the next library level. Okay, now you can have an option to download. So click onto this code and then click download zip format. So both the libraries are now it's ready. So what these two libraries will be having in the sense, the manner in which your data will be converted into MQTT format, and it will be taken to the cloud. Okay, so how it will be interacting with your cloud and to this Node MCU will be defined in this particular two libraries. So it is mandatory that you have to download and install. Include these two particular libraries for your programming. And next most important thing is your DHT sensors library. So as I have mentioned earlier, so this particular DHT sensor will have a three pins. Okay, so first pin is your ground, and second pin is your data, and third pin is your VCC. So for grounded VCC, we will provide a 3.3 voltage and that ground connection. But for data, it will be connected to a digital I/O pins. Okay, so while connecting the data, it will be taking two different values. One is your temperature, and another one is your humidity. So how you can able to get the two different values in two different variable presence? It is defined in this particular library, DHT-ESP.h. It is not mandatory that you have to use only this particular library. You will be provided a number of options. Sometimes capital DHT.h will give you the data, or small DHT will give you the data, or DHT master will give you the data. Okay, so that depends upon the library in which you are going to use. Okay, so here in my case, I'm going to use DHT ESP.h. DHT is cap and ESP is small. Okay, so likewise, and you have to exactly get this library. I'm telling, because your keywords will be exactly matched with this particular library only. If you download a different library, then the keywords which we are going to use for the temperature and humidity measurement will not match. Okay. So here is our DHT library, and this will be uploaded by this particular fellow. So you click on here and you may click download. Sometimes finding the small DHT is a very tough job. Okay, so you may go with the DHT ESP for betterment. So after downloading all these three, you may go to a desktop and paste it over there. I'm mentioning desktop is because it is easy to locate from your Arduino. So whatever the libraries that we are manually adding will be routed towards the folder called documents. Okay, so inside the documents you can have a Arduino. So inside this you will be having a library folder, and again you can find all those manually installed libraries. Okay, so these are all not pre-installed. These are all installed by us manually. Okay, so here Adafruit Master is not available. I hope. Yeah, Adafruit Master is not available. So I can able to install it now by manual process. Okay. So what I have to do is, please go to Sketch and click onto the Include Library and Add Zip Library. Okay. Then you direct towards the desktop and you click onto this Adafruit Library Master. So after including that, it will be shown like a library added to your library, set your library menu. And if you go now, you can able to see Adafruit MPPT Library Master. So inside which your Adafruit MPPT.h is available, and Adafruit MPPT client.h is also available. Okay, so both the libraries are available in a single package, and you ensure that in addition to the .h file, you have to have a .cpp file also. Sometimes while downloading from the GitHub, they will provide you the .h and they will not give you the .cpp file. Only if you have both the files, then it will work. Okay, so that you have to keep in mind. And how to use this particular library will be explained through some of the examples programmed here. So this particular template also you can use for your future purpose. And the same will be available in your file also. In file menu, if you go to the examples, all the manually added libraries will be listed here, okay, at the bottom. See examples from the custom library, it will be shown. So here I have added a library called Adafruit MPPT library. So here I can find n number of example programs as I have pointed there. Okay, so these are all the templates in which you can able to communicate easily. Okay, and next important library is DHT-ESP.h. So that I have to include. So go to Sketch and click on Include Library menu, and then click on Add Zip Library. Then go to the root folder, Desktop, and then click on to the DHT-ESP Master. Okay. So once you click open, it will be added here. So library added to your libraries, check including include library. Okay, so if you go there, you can able to find. So you can go to examples, and you can find the DHT sensor library. Okay, so DHT for ESP32, DHT for ESP8266. Likewise, they will be listed for different versions of your controller. Okay, so if you go to DHT ESP, then you can able to find how the keywords will be used. Okay, so here you can see a keyword function called DHT.getHumidity function, and another one function is DHT.getTemperature function. So only these functions will be defined inside that particular library. Okay, and the variables and all we can able to create by our own. So it is not a problem. But this particular function name alone will differ for each libraries. Okay, so sometimes it will be like a get humidity alone, or sometimes it will be DHT11.getHumidity, or sometimes it is DHT.humidity. Likewise, it will differ for each and every libraries. For this particular library, it is DHT.getHumidity, getTemperature. So that's a function which will be defined in this particular library to get your value. And next one is your a definition of a DHT pin. Okay, so the pin at which you are going to connect your DHT will be defined here. So I'm going to connect through D0 pin. So that's my first digital I/O pin in my Node MCU. So through this pin, I'm going to connect. Why I'm defining this particular pin at first in the sense, in sometimes I'll be using n number of times this particular pin number inside my program. So again and again, instead of changing the pin code value, I can able to define it at the top of my program, and I can use n number of times inside. In a critical situation, if I want to change the digital GPIO pin in the sense, only at this particular location I can able to change, and in the rest of the locations it will be automatically updated. So likewise, so that's a facility. So that's the reason why I'm defining this particular variable DHT pin as my GPIO pin D0. Okay, so next one is here DHT ESP. I'm going to create a variable. Okay, so DHT ESP is my library. So for this library, I'm going to create a variable, object variable DHT. So hereafter, instead of using DHT ESP dot that particular function, I can simply use DHT dot that particular function. So that's an advantage of creating the object variable. So after this, the header file and definition is over. And now we have the connectivity part. Okay. So there are two connectivities I told. So first one is between your controller and to the router, and second one is router to the cloud. Okay. So this particular portion of the code will connect you the Arduino, sorry, a Node MCU to the internet. Okay. It will give you the just internet for your controller. Okay. So for that, I'm going to use my Wi-Fi SSID and a password. Okay, so Wi-Fi username and a password. So here in my case, I'm using my mobile phone hotspot as my Wi-Fi router. So I can give the SSID as my mobile phone's hotspot name, username. Okay, that is a case sensitive one. Even the space and the uppercase, lowercase is a matter. So you please be careful. So this is nothing but your Wi-Fi router's name. And for name check, I have given a password 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and without the password also it will work. Sometimes if it is an open access network, then you just give a double quote alone, or even the complete line you can able to hide. Suppose if you don't have any password in the sense, and if you have a password, you just enter the password here in the double quotes. So this is your Wi-Fi LAN's password. So after giving this credential, what will happen in the sense, it will give you the internet connectivity for your controller. Okay, it is not going to connect your cloud. It is just going to give you internet connectivity alone. Next one is your AIO server and AIO server port. So here in this case, I'm going to use a Adafruit is my cloud, and the server name for my Adafruit is io.adafruit.com, which is given in the website itself. And the port in which this particular Adafruit cloud will be accessing the data is 1883. This is also available in the net, so you can just directly copy it from there and you can able to use it here. All the free servers will access your data through 1883 server port only. Okay, so port is the place through which your data will be transmitted and received for your controller. Okay, and next one is your username and a keyword. So this particular username and keyword is the login keyword for your Adafruit account. Okay, so you'll be having a manual login, and after logging into your account, you'll be given with some username and keyword to post your data into your cloud. So from your cloud, you have to take those two credentials. Okay, and as I mentioned earlier, you have to create your own account, and from your account, if you share this particular username and keyword, then your Adafruit cloud and this particular controller will be communicating to each other. Okay, so this is the main area where in which your MQTT protocol will communicate your Adafruit account from the controller. Okay, and next one is a Wi-Fi client. I'm going to create a client ID. So Wi-Fi client, I'm going to create a object variable client. Okay, so next one is a Adafruit account communication. Okay, so Adafruit MQTT client is the function. By using this, I can able to have a MQTT communication between my cloud. Okay, so for that, I'm having this function in a short form of MQTT. The parameters I'm going to send are the object variable client, because I'm going to make my controller as a client for my server. Okay, so next one is the AIO server name. Okay, AIO server in the sense through which cloud I'm going to use. So Mosquito Cloud is also another one. Free cloud available. ThinkSpeak Cloud is available. Blink Cloud is available. So likewise, we will be having a number of free IO servers. Okay, so which server that you are using, you have to say, and the server port name you have to mention here, and the username and the keyword for which your data should be posted will be mentioned here. So if you mention all these things, then by using this MQTT function, your connection will be established. Okay. So next one is your upload and downloading your data. So here in this case, I'm going to upload my data along. So my sensors will be connected, and the sensor data will be uploaded into the cloud. So only I'm going to publish my data. Publish in the sense sending from the controller to the cloud. Okay. So I'm going to publish. So for that, I can use a function called Adafruit MQTT publish. Okay. So and through the two different values, I'm going to send my data. Okay. So this particular DHT sensor can have a capability to measure the temperature and the humidity as well. So first, I'm going to send a temperature via the variable called TEMP. Okay. So this is the local variable which I'm going to use it in my program alone. I'm not going to use this same variable in my cloud. So in cloud, I can have a different variable, or even I can use the same name, no issues. But this particular variable should be identical for this particular program. Okay, within this program, I should not change this TEMP in caps. Okay, so this is a local variable for my program, and I'm going to map this local variable with the cloud variable TEMP here. Okay, so for that I'm going to use a function called Adafruit MQTT publish, and I'm going to communicate via MQTT protocol which I have established earlier. Okay, so I'm mentioning that MQTT protocol, and I'm going to access one particular username called IO_username, and in that I'll be having n number of feeds in my cloud. Okay, so feeds are the variables where I'm going to store my data. Okay, like your database table. Okay, so in MySQL, you will be having one database, and inside the database, you will be having n number of tables, right? And each table will be having some variable. In that variable, we will be storing our data. So likewise, in Adafruit Cloud, it will be known as a feeds. And in the feeds, I can able to create 10 such a feed. So one feed is called the temperature. So this particular temperature feed, I'm going to map with the local variable temp. Okay. So these two can be a similar name or a different name. It's not an issue. But this particular blue color temp should match with your Adafruit account feed name. Okay. So it is a case sensitive. So whatever the variable name I'm going to use it here should match with my Adafruit account. And whatever the name that I'm using it here should match with my internal coding. So that is the only constraint for programming this particular publish method. Okay. And since I'm going to send two data, I'm going to create another one variable with the publish keyword. Okay. So Adafruit MQTT publish, the same MQTT protocol I'm going to use, and in the username I'm going to create a HUM as a variable. So in this variable, I'm going to map this particular value. Okay, so what happens if I'm sending any data through this HUM? It will be published in the cloud via this particular HUM. Okay, so if you want to differentiate, you can have a full name also, no issues. Okay, but it should be mapped with your Adafruit account. That you have to keep in mind. And next one is the MQTT connection. So for making an MQTT connection between my Wi-Fi router to the cloud, I should call this particular function. Okay. So for this, I'm defining the function name here, and I'm going to explain the function at later. Okay. And next one is my setup portion. So setup is the one portion where my one-time execution code will be written. Okay. So all this code written inside this function will execute only once, even after switching off power or during the resetting operation. If I reset once, it will do only once. Okay, it will be executed only once. And for seeing that communication between my controller and to the computer, I'm just using a serial monitor. Okay, so I'm going to start my serial monitor with a baud rate of 1,15,200. This baud rate can be anything like 9,600 or higher than this value, 96,000 also I can able to use. But for your Node MCU, this is a very good baud rate and it will work well. Okay, so you can use 9,600 also, but for Node MCU you just use 1,15,200 as a bit rate. So that's the best one. And next one is your serial println. I'm just printing that my Adafruit MQTT program has been started. Okay, so for that I'm just printing this one in the serial monitor, so that I can able to understand what is my present status of the controller is. And if you don't have this F function in the sense, directly it will be printed in the serial monitor. But if you use the function along with the F in the sense, it will print the string without utilizing your internal memory. That is, your RAM memory will be saved. So that's the reason why we have included this string function. Okay. So next one is here. I'm going to give two space by using this serial.println function. So println in the sense a new line will be created. Two new lines will be created, and I'm going to print like it is trying to connect with my network. That is a Wi-Fi network. So it is going to update my status in the serial monitor as connecting to, and I'm going to print my SSID. So I have mentioned one SSID name here, like with IoT is my name of my Wi-Fi router. So to that router it is going to connect, it will intimate me. Okay, because sometimes I may change my controller, and after using a different controller to which network it is going to connect, if I want to judge, then I can simply open the serial monitor, I can able to see. Because after uploading a program into the controller, we cannot able to see which particular Wi-Fi network that I have used for this controller. So for verifying this one day, I'm writing all these lines. Okay. Next one is a Wi-Fi begin, and this particular function is the most important function through which my IoT controller, that is this particular Node MCU, will be communicating to the mobile phone. Okay, so to the mobile phone, and it will access my mobile phone internet. Okay, or otherwise we can have a Wi-Fi router, and through that Wi-Fi router it will establish a communication. Okay, so it will get a internet facility for my ESP8266 device. Okay, so for this I will need to call this function Wi-Fi.begin, and this particular function will be explained in this ESP8266 Wi-Fi.get header library. Okay, so through that library it will be connecting to the network. So I'm going to send two parameters. One is my username and another one is my password. SSID in the sense Wi-Fi network username and a password. So I have mentioned it here. Life with IoT is my username and this is my password. So by using these two, it will be establishing an internet connectivity with between the Wi-Fi router and to the Node MCU device. Now I want to check whether the connection is established or not. Okay. So for that I am going to check the function called Wi-Fi.status. Okay. So this particular function will reply with the connected status if it is connected perfectly, or if not connected, then it will be giving you some error values or the code in which it is replied, that function is replied. Okay, so suppose if it is not equal to WL connected, in the sense automatically the Wi-Fi connection is not established. So this while loop, what it will do in the sense, it will periodically give a dot symbol in my serial monitor every half a second. The delay with the 500 millisecond in the sense, it is a half a second. So every half a second I will get a dot symbol in my serial monitor, so that I can understand it is trying to connect. It is not completely connected, it is trying to connect. Okay. Once if the connection is established, definitely my function, that is the Wi-Fi status function, will return this WL connected. So suppose if the value is WL connected exactly, then the while loop will fail and it will come out of this while loop. Okay, and it will give you a new line and it will update my status as Wi-Fi connected. Okay, and each and every device that I'm going to connect to my Wi-Fi router will be allocated with a local IP. So if I want to know which particular IP that my IoT device is utilizing, I can see through a function. Okay, called Wi-Fi.local IP function. So this function will give me the exact IP address through which my IoT device will be communicating to the Wi-Fi router. Okay, so for that I'm just displaying it as IP address colon and a space, and I'm going to print my IP address through this function. Okay, so everything will be displayed in the serial monitor up to this. And next one is I'm going to define which particular DHT sensor I'm going to use. Okay, so DHT sensors will be coming with the different varieties like DHT 11, 22, 33, likewise. Okay, so I'm going to use a DHT sensor as DHT11. So it will be mentioned here. So that particular sensor, I have to do some setup, okay, through this particular pin, and by using this particular sensor name, I'm going to establish a communication. Likewise, I'm going to instruct my device. Okay, so everything is defined in this DHT ESP.h library itself. But by using this function DHT.setup function, I'm going to call that particular values alone. Okay, for different devices, the keywords may vary. Okay, so accordingly, I need to set up this particular device. So for that, I am sending which particular pin I am going to connect my DHT, and what is the name of my DHT devices. So these two I am going to send. So that's it. My setup portion is over. Okay. So this is called code folding. Okay. So the last corner I can see a minus sign. So if I click on this, I can able to see the starting and end point of my setup program. So this is the complete code for my setup function. And even at the last end point, if I click, I can able to see where is the starting point for this particular closing place. Okay. And next one is my void loop. So repeated coding will be called here, and here I can see the MQTT connect function. Okay, the very first line is my MQTT connect function, because I need to establish a MQTT communication. So in the setup part, I have connected my Wi-Fi network alone. So this is just an internet facility provided to my device, but it is not going to send a data. Okay, for sending the data from my Wi-Fi router to the cloud, I should have a MQTT connection between these two devices. So for that, I am calling a function called MQTT connect, and this particular function will be defined here. Okay, so after my loop function is completed, I'm going to explain my MQTT function. Okay, so here MQTT function will be defined with the variable retry. Okay, so number of retries, I'm going to store it in the variable ret, and it is of integer variable, and I'm going to check whether my MQTT connection is established or not through MQTT.connect function. Suppose if the connection is true, then there is no need to connect it again, and I can simply return back to my original code. Okay, so that's why I'm having an if condition here. If this if condition fails, definitely there is a fault in communicating through MQTT protocol. Okay, so now what will happen in the sense, it will update my serial monitor as it is trying to connect to MQTT. Likewise, it will update in my serial monitor, and it will tell me how many number of times it is going to retry. Okay, so for 3 times I'm going to define, I'm going to try again and again to communicate with this MQTT protocol. So that's why I'm defining it as retries are 3 in number, and for every retry I'll be checking with this MQTT connect function. So I will call this function at first whether the connection is established or not. If the connection is perfectly established, it will give you the 200 as a successful code. Okay, successful code is 200. Apart from 200, if I'm getting like a 404 or some other kind of values, then definitely it is not going to be my successful connection. Okay, so that variable I'm going to store it in this ret variable. That is an integer variable. And for my verification, I'm just going to display what this particular return back code is meaning. Okay, actually. So for getting a meaning for each and every code, I have a function called MQTT connection error string. Okay. So if there is an error string, that particular error string will have its own value, integer value, and if I'm sending through this function, that will tell you what exactly the error is. Whether my server is not available, or port is not responding, or my MQTT connection is not established. Likewise, it will give you a different kind of error, what exactly happening. Okay, and that I can able to print it through my serial monitor, and I can able to see it here. And suppose if you are using our college Wi-Fi router, in the sense there will be a chance for getting this MQTT protocol, because there will be some restrictions over there. Okay, sometimes the MQTT protocol will not respond good in the open access Wi-Fi network. Okay, because of the proximity problems. But if you are using your mobile phone account without any restrictions, then automatically it will be updated. And also it will update you in the serial address. It is going to again try back this MQTT connection within next 5 seconds. Okay, and I'm going to disconnect my MQTT because it is not connected successfully now. There is an error code, and for 5 seconds it is going to switch off my MQTT communication. Okay, 5 seconds alone it will be switched off. For that, I'm giving a delay called 5000 millisecond, and the number of retries I'm going to decrease. So one time I have retried. Suppose if the retries is not equal to 0, then I have to again and again do this job. Suppose if my retry is 0, that is I have tried 3 times. Even after that, I'm not able to communicate through MQTT protocol. In the sense, it will stay back within this line itself. It won't go further execution of the lines. Okay. So because without establishing the MQTT communication, no other jobs that we can able to do. So we have to simply wait for the connection. So that's why I have added an infinite while loop here. Suppose if the retrace are failed, and 3 times, even after 3 times of trying, I am not able to communicate through MQTT protocol, since it will stay back within this same line. Okay. If suppose within this 3 retries, my connection has been established, in the sense it will come out of this particular loop and it will show me the update as MQTT is connected. Okay, so this is how this particular MQTT connect protocol will make a communication between my Wi-Fi router to the cloud. So that's it. My Wi-Fi communication and my MQTT communication has been established now. Now I'm going to get the value from my sensor. So for that I'm using a float variable, because the temperature and humidity may change in floating point variable. So I'm going to use a float variable. Even integer you can use, the rounded off values alone will be stored. Okay. So if you want to get an exact value, you can go with a float data type. Okay. So I'm going to use a variable called h. Okay. Float is a name, data type name, and h is the variable, float type variable. And I'm going to call a function dht.h humidity, get humidity. Okay, so and it is a case sensitive function, so it is defined in dht.esp.h. So after calling this function, it will connect through this particular DHT pin, that is through D0, which we have defined in the setup portion. Okay, so DHT pin we have mentioned, and the sensor name we have mentioned. So through this pin, via the sensor, it will get the humidity value, and the humidity value will be stored in the h variable. Okay, so likewise, I'm going to get my temperature here. So for that, I'm going to create a variable called float t. dht.get temperature is my function. So after calling this function, I will be getting the temperature value that will be stored in the t. Okay, and next one is my serial mod printer. So before updating to my cloud, I just want to ensure whether a valid data that I have received from my sensor. So for that, I just want to look my received value through the serial monitor. So for that, I'm just printing all those values which I have received through this function. So first line will be mentioning it as sending the data to the cloud. dht.get a status string. So it will tell me whether the status of my sensor, whether it is successfully read the temperature or not. Okay, if the sensor is not at all connected, it will tell that what exactly the error is. Okay, so for that I'm using this status of my DHT sensor, and with the space I'm going to display my temperature. So for that I'm printing as temperature colon, and the variable t I'm going to print in my serial monitor. And with another one additional space, tab space, I'm going to display my humidity. So humidity colon, and I'm going to display my humidity value. See, all these things are just a print values. It is not print ln. So it is not going to be typed in a new line. It is going to be in a single line. So in a single line, my status of my data sending will be updated. So whether it will say any error or it is updated OK. Likewise, it will display, and it will display my temperature value and the humidity value in my serial monitor. So that's it for your serial monitor purpose. And for updating into the cloud, this is the main line. Okay, so this temperature and humidity are the two variables which we have created here on the line number 28 and 29. By using this Adafruit MQTT publish and two published protocols, we have created two variables, local variables called a TEMP and a HUN. So these two are the local variables I told. So by using those two local variables, we have to send the data. So temperature is the local variable through which I am going to publish my data temp, that is a floating point T value. And the humidity is the another one local variable through which I am publishing my humidity data H. Okay, so these two values I am going to publish. So this is the main two lines. If suppose I am writing like a temperature local variable 1 or humidity local variable 1 in the sense, here also I have to use it like temperature 1, humidity 1. In order to differentiate between the feed values and the local variables, I am just making this alteration. Okay, so nothing more. But we can have a temperature as TEMP in the feed, okay, as such, because these two can be similar or these two can be a different one. Okay, there is no relation between these two, but the value in temperature 1 will be mapped with the TEMP. So that is what happening here. Okay, so even you can have a different variables here. And that definitely important. And I should definitely have this particular delay in the case of this particular Adafruit cloud. Why? Because I'm going to use a free cloud. Okay, so the Adafruit cloud is a free service provider. So definitely there will be some restrictions. Okay, so what are the restrictions in the sense? First one, they will update your data. They will keep your history of data for 30 days. Okay, after 30 days, the 31st day, what will happen in the sense, the first day data will be overwritten. Even if you have the data or not, they will just override your data of the first day. Okay, so likewise, only 30 days of previous history will be stored. So that's the first restriction. And the second restriction is the number of data that you can able to update in a minute. Okay, so per minute you can update 30 data. Only 30 data you can able to update. So either you can send the 30 temperature value or 30 humidity values per minute. But I'm updating two different values at a time. That is temperature as well as humidity I'm sending. So for each and every transmission, I'm sending two data. It means that I should send only 15 data. Okay, why? Because I'm sending twice the depth of the data. Suppose if I'm sending only one data in the sense, I'm not sending humidity, I'm just sending the temperature alone in the sense, I can have a delay of 2 seconds because 2 by 60 will give you 30. So 30 temperature data will be updated as such. Okay. Suppose if I want to update two different values in the sense, my delay should be 4 seconds. Okay. If not, what will happen? The 31st data will be ignored. 31st to the rest of the number of data will be ignored for that particular minute. Say for example, in one particular minute, if I'm sending 40 data in the sense, okay, first 30 data alone will be stored in the cloud, and the 31st to 40th data will be ignored by my cloud. Okay, and after 1 minute is over, then it will start accepting my 41st data. Okay, 41st to 70th data will be as such, it will be accepted and it will be displayed in my cloud, and the 71 to 80th data will be ignored. So likewise, okay, so it will accept only the 30 hits per minute. So that's a major problem. So I need to calculate my data accordingly. I have to calculate my delay accordingly. Okay, so here I am using a 4 second delay. So 4 seconds in the sense 60 by 4, that is 60 seconds is equal to 1 minute. So 60 by 4 will be 15. Okay, so 15 number of hits it will allow. For each hit I am sending two data, that is temperature and humidity. So 15 into 2, 30. So 30 hits will be allowed for my cloud. So that is how it will be updated in the Adafruit account. Okay, so that's all about my code explanation. And tomorrow's class, I'll start with my Adafruit account and I'll create a variable, and I will update how these variables were stored in the cloud. Okay. Thank you so much.